Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, July 22nd, 2022. My name is Barry Cowan. I am your host today for this special Zoom meeting. And assisting me today are Bob Gastisha, Carol Friedman, and our presenters, Jim and Chris Gould. Well, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, so to speak, except for the thunderstorm that just passed my way, and I'm just drying out. As when I went this morning to pick up the newspaper, I got a big surprise. So the news is all wet anyway, so it was just another addition. We have decided that we're going to do monthly classes. So the next one's going to be August the 19th. And those of you who are Apple users should realize that they have now come out with the latest software update, 15.6 the other day, and it's across all devices. To be sure that you're doing it properly, make sure your device is plugged into a power source and charged at least 50%. And it should work out just fine. Now, some of the earlier devices did not get the update. As you know, just like a lot of companies, they have an end of life date. And after that, you just don't get anything there because the device is too old or it's being discontinued as new devices hit the horizon. A lot of things happened since we last met on May 13th. It's hard to believe that so much time has passed by that quickly. We've had the announcement from Apple in June at the Worldwide Development Conference. iOS 16 looks like a huge update. They also introduced the new iPhone, I guess 14 line, and that probably isn't going to be around until September. Personally, I don't think I'm going to be getting that phone. I have the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I think I'm just going to let it be. It's like a lot of people, you don't have to go out and buy the latest thing. A great example of that is the Chromebook. If the Chromebook dies out, you're not completely lost with it. Without it, you can get a new one. But Bob, I think you said it was only necessary for the certain updates, right? That you'll receive and others you won't, correct? I can't hear you, Bob.
Once it's been discontinued or it's reached its end of life, it no longer receives any updates. So if there are security breaches that would have been cured with an update, you're at risk. If there aren't any, just keep using it or use it for things that won't require internet access.
Okay, great. So moving right along, we have some really special presentations for you today and some special presenters who I'm proud to call my friends. First, Jim and Chris Gould, it goes without saying, are among the best presenters I have ever seen in this country, and I've seen a lot of them. And
this is being recorded, right?
Yes, it is. We can give you a sitting ovation right now.
Here's your dollar.
Yes.
Keep going. Go on.
Go on.
Jim takes all of the producing and directing and all that, does the background, makes sure their programs, their Zoom meetings all work very smoothly and does an excellent job.
I get all the credit.
Yeah. And Chris, I love to talk too, Chris, so watch out. Chris is now an award-winning platinum level Google Photos expert. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Well deserved. I'm sure they'll tell you a little bit about that as time goes by. So without further ado, I'm going to present our special guests for today, Chris and Jim Gould. Take it away.
Thank you. So, and thanks for inviting us, Barry. We
Again?
always, yes, again, we enjoyed presenting to your group when we could do so in person, and now we love being able to do it right from the comfort of our home now.
Right. It's pretty cool.
So what we're going to talk about today is Google Photos. You know, I could go on for days or weeks about Google Photos, so I've just picked a couple things that are fairly new and pretty cool, and that's what we're going to talk about, Google Photos update and tips. I love having questions, so if anybody has a question, please put it in the chat and we'll see it, but I will try to I'll try to not talk too long so that we have time for people to really ask questions.
Okay. Well, we are geeks. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we are Geeks on Tour. And do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And you have questions about your technology and how do you learn? Well, we can teach you.
Another word for geek is propeller head. So we like to wear these funky little hats and try to not take ourselves too seriously. You learn better when you're having fun.
That's right. And we're not the Geek Squad. We are geeksontour.com. I will not come out and fix your computer. It's not what I do anymore.
I can barely get him to fix mine.
Wow. Do you know Google Photos? How many of you are out there using it now? Raise your hands. I can see most of you.
A raise of hands if you use Google Photos now.
All right. What's wrong with the rest of you?
Just a couple. All right. So then I definitely, I have used it since it came out in 2015. I live, eat, and breathe Google Photos. So I just kind of assume that everybody uses it, but I know that's not true. So I start with this slide that just gives a very basic, what is it? I mean, some people I've talked to thought that Google Photos meant Googling the web for photos. No. Google Photos is a product by Google to privately store, organize, edit, and share your lifetime of photos. That's number one. Number two, it stores your photos in the cloud. So that's something to be very aware of. It's not like Picasa or Windows Photos where your photos are on your computer. Your photos are in the cloud and Google Photos manages them there. Number three, it's basically free. The service is free, the mobile apps are free, and 15 gigabytes of that cloud storage is free. If you need more than 15 gigabytes, the first step is paying $20 a year. That gets you 100 gigabytes. So that's just kind of the basics. Now, I use Google Photos for my lifetime of photos. You start out just by putting the app on your phone. Now all the photos that are on your phone are in the cloud. But I also uploaded all my tens of thousands of photos that were on my computer and in backup hard drives. So now my lifetime of photos is all in Google Photos. Now, if you start using Google Photos on your phone, then you should stop using the photo app that came with your phone. So on iPhones, that means that Apple Photos. On Androids, it usually is something called Gallery. So you can't get rid of those, but just put them to the back home screen, and put Google Photos on the front home screen so that you learn that one. Because if you go back and forth, it gets way confusing. So stick with one, I say, Google Photos. And it also, I guess maybe in number 4, I should say, it works on Apple as well as Android. That's its number 1 selling point for me because I use both. I can't just use Apple Photos because it doesn't work with Android. Okay, so that's just a tiny bit of spiel of what is Google Photos.
Yeah, and Chris wrote the book on Google Photos. Learn Google Photos. It's available on Amazon, on Kindle, and we have it on our website, and you should buy it.
And so this this is all that I have had to say about Google Photos. So I'm just giving you about 20 minutes worth of that. So let's see, what do I want to tell you about? I want to tell you about the photo grid. And that's on the mobile devices. Google Photos works with an app on your iPhone. It works with an app on your Android phone, and it works on a website on your computer, photos.google.com. So there's slight differences amongst those three different versions, but they're all looking at the same photos. So I'm going to show you. So the photo grid, a lot of people don't realize that you can pinch and zoom to change the size of the photos. You can use the scroll button to move through the dates fast. And you get these automatic little highlights for each month. You also can see the location. If your camera recorded the GPS location when you took the photo, then you see them then they have the location on the device. And when you select photos using long press, you get a pop-up menu of what to do with them. So I'm going to show you all that. I get the impression that most of you are on iPhone, although I will show both iPhone and Android, but I'm going to start with iPhone. So here's my iPhone, and there is Google Photos. Now, this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to use Google Photos, always look at your photos using that icon, not that one, because they work differently. That one I call Apple Photos, so just don't use it. I want to look at my photos, I use Google Photos. And there are 4 menu items down at the bottom. Photos, search, sharing, and library. If you tap on the photos, this is what I call the grid. This is all of my photos. If I want to see more on the screen, so notice these are fairly large, I put my 2 fingers on the screen and pinch. And if I pinch again and pinch again, when it won't go anymore, I am now in month view. So see July. And if I scroll down, I then see June. So that is month view. And notice at the top of the month, there are these memory tiles. These are automatic just by Google's artificial intelligence. It looks at all my pictures for June and says, these are the best. I can tap that, and I am seeing, in its opinion, just the best photos from June.
And videos.
And videos, very good. I always forget, yeah, Google Photos is every bit as good at storing all your videos as it is photos. But it's hard to always say photos and videos, so I just say photos. Okay, so that's a little... Now, if I want to go back in time, so my most recent photos are at top. If I want to go back in time, I just scroll down. This little button appears. As you start scrolling, that little button appears, and that will go fast. So can you see that it shows years? It shows years in those little pill buttons. And then notice it's always jumping to the top of a month. So if I just scroll down or up, it will always drop me off at the top of a month. Then, if you start just scrolling through, notice this little overlay here. It says September 2011. And if I scroll through, it now says October 2011. So it always lets you know where you're at in your grid, your timeline-based grid. Your photos are always in order by date taken. And if I want to see, I say, oh, okay, yeah, December 2011. That's what I want to see. I want to see them bigger. What do you think I do? 2 fingers on the screen and spread them. Now they're bigger. Spread them again, they're bigger yet, spread them again until I get down to just one photo view. Pinch, 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 and I'm into the smallest. I want to go back to today. So I'll just start scrolling up and then I'll grab the little button and just drag all the way to the top. So quick. That's just wonderful. I can't. If I want to go back to the very earliest photos of mine, start scrolling down, grab the button, boom, I'm down to 1954. How did pictures get in here for 1954?
Time machine.
These obviously are just photographs, prints that I have in an old photo album. I used my phone, snapped a picture, and then Google Photos allows me to change the date. So it doesn't have the date that my camera snapped the picture. It has what I say is the original date. All right. So one brand new thing, I don't know, it's no big deal, but see, I have all these pictures. They look like duplicates, right? There. They look like duplicates, but they're not. I actually took 3, 6, 9, 12. I actually took 13 pictures, 14 pictures of this little lizard in our backyard. I was experimenting with something. So my experiment didn't work. I don't want these pictures. How do I delete them all easily? If you long press on the first one, notice how something just popped up. That's what's new. If I then scroll down, notice how everything I scrolled over is now selected. It tells me I've selected 16 pictures. Well, that one and that one are not pictures of that lizard. So now I have 14 pictures selected. Those are all the pictures of the lizard, which I don't want. Popped up down at the bottom are the things I could do with that photo. I could share them, I could add to an album, or I could delete them. That's what I want to do. So I just touch and hold, drag through all the ones I want to delete, tap the trash can. And I think that was everything for the grid. Let me just show you on Android. It's the exact same thing. And once again, on Android, you want to use the Google Photos app, not the Gallery app. Google Photos, and here are all those same pictures, and the little button appears. I can drag down, I can let go, and it drops me off at the top of a month. I have a best of month, etc., etc., and I can zoom in by spreading my fingers, or I can go down to the smallest by pinching. Sometimes it's a little tricky. I can also back up this back arrow here, there. It didn't want to pinch from a single view, and pinch and pinch. Now I'm at the smallest view. All right. Any questions on that? On the
Nothing in the chat. Okay,
Okay,
we'll go on.
we'll go on. Portrait editing tools. So I'm going to take a picture of Jim. Smile. No. Oh, you look a little foggy. I'm going to clean the lens before I take a picture. Number 1 smartphone photography tip. This
Clean the lens.
on the back. In fact, let me use my better. I have this iPhone SE. I love this little phone, but it doesn't have the greatest camera. This Samsung has a much better camera, so I think that's the one I'll take the picture with.
Clean the lens.
Clean the lens. Take a picture. Yeah. Well, you're backlit, you know. That's not the best way to take a picture, but I'll show you what we can do with it. So I'm on my Samsung, and once again, I have two apps that can work with my photos. I'm using Google Photos. I scroll up to the very top, and there's the picture I just took of Jim. I say, well, not the greatest picture, but let's see what I can do with it. I will tap Edit. Edit. And there's a ton of stuff you can do. Like just this enhance brightens him up a little bit. Then I want you to notice these options that have the number 1 in a multicolored circle. Those are special editing features, and those are the ones I want to show you. And there's a few right on this first tab. Google Photos editing is in 2 rows. The bottom row are the basic level options. When you select something on the bottom row, you get a top row with all of the detail options for that one. So, for example, I can crop. I'm not going to crop it much. I can crop some of that backlit window out there. And then I can go back to suggestions. But I want to use some of the fancy editing features. And on the Android, they're in a menu item called Tools. And here is where there's a difference with the iPhone. So I'll show you the iPhone in just a minute. Under Tools, we have Portrait Light, Blur, and Color Focus. These are fun. Let me show you Portrait Light first. And it automatically comes up at 50% of a brightness of the light. To make sure you really see it, I'm going to set that to 100. You just slide it over, yeah, until it says 100. See where it's on there's a slider down here. There's one. Boy. And there's 100. Maybe I have greasy fingers or something. Now I have this little button up here that represents the source of the light. Just look at his face as I go left and right. See how you can see, and up and down. You can see how the light on his face changes. So I can kind of fill in the darkness on that side of his face. That's good. And done. Now this is a pretty messy background. How about let's blur it? Blur. And it starts out at 47%. I want to go over to 100% so you can really see it and tell it that my focus point is his face. So see how the background has gotten way blurry and yet his face is still in focus. Really nice technique for portraits. But the background is still too messy. I'm going to use color focus, which means turn the background into black and white. It starts off at 0. I drag that over to 100. And now you see the background is pure black and white, and there's his face. Long press, and you can see what the original looked like. Let go, and you can see my edited. Now you might say, I'm going to go to another picture now. And if I go to Edit and Tools, the Portrait Light and the Color Focus isn't there. So these options are dynamic based on the photo that you bring up. This is not a portrait, so Portrait Light doesn't make any sense. And blurring the background. Actually, it does have a blur. Wonder what that's. So you can tell it that's what I want in focus and blur the rest of it. Okay, so it does have a blur, but it doesn't have Portrait Light.
I just blurred the sky.
Yeah. Okay, one other thing to know. If you want to use those multicolored one special, I call them premium editing features. The one stands for Google One, meaning you don't get these if you are just using the free storage level of Google Photos. You need to be on a paid tier that makes you a Google One subscriber, and that gives you these special features.
Except on Pixels.
Except on Pixels. If you have a Google phone, then you paid Google something, and you get those premium editing features with a Google phone, a Pixel. All right, just very briefly then, I'm going to go into iPhone and do the same thing. So I open Google Photos, I go to the top, there's the picture I just took of Jim. Now, how am I seeing that on my iPhone when I took the photo on my Android? That is the beauty of Google Photos. As soon as I took it on the Android, Google Photos uploaded it to the cloud, and now it's available to all my devices. And if I go into Edit, I have a lot of the same features, but I do not have that Tools menu. On the Adjust menu, the same options occur though. So you can do everything I just did on the Android with the iPhone, it's just on a different menu option. Go figure. So I can choose Portrait Light, put it up to 100, move this little dot over so that it brightens the dark side of his face, say Done. Choose Color Focus, put the background into black and white, choose Blur, blur the background, and done. Notice I don't have the option to save. That really pisses me off. I don't like making copies. I want to save the original. But if you use those premium edits,
You have to save a copy.
there's something about those premium edits that cannot be saved over the original. They have to make a copy. So save copy. All right, so that is the fancy editing tools. You know, people think that they need to have something like Photoshop in order to edit their photos. Now, I do like Snapseed. I do like some features of other photo editors on beyond Google Photos. But boy, can you do a lot just with Google Photos.
Bob has a question.
Hey, Bob. Or a comment. I know he's pretty expert in Google Photos himself.
When you make a copy,
Yeah.
does it give you the same date or does it give you the date when you made the edits?
It gives you the same date as the original. Well, let's see. It seems like there's a couple of occasions when it doesn't. I mean, if the original didn't have a date taken, like it was uploaded from a computer or something, then your edited copy will have today's date.
Okay, that makes sense.
But if you just took it, so this says Friday at 10:21 a.m. is the original. Here's my edited one, and it says Friday at 10:21 a.m. So yeah, it did
Okay.
get the exact same date.
As the
That means you have to go back and delete the original
Yes, yes.
if you don't
pain,
want it, which is a pain. Yep.
which is a pain. Yes,
Yep.
I agree completely. I hope they figure that out someday. All right.
Bug them enough, Chris. They'll listen to you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, the people I used to talk to aren't there anymore. So what's next?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
Okay, I was doing some work last night with Google Photos, but I was doing it from my desktop. And I had like several thousand pictures because I was looking for a picture, okay? And I had to go through thousands of pictures. And so I found the pictures in 2021 and 2018 that I wanted. Now, because I was using my desktop, I didn't know how to get them. So I took my cell phone and just took a picture of them. Is there an easier way than doing what I did?
Well, if you were on your computer, were you working with your photos using the Google Photos website?
I went into my email, then I went up to the top of the email and then clicked on Google Photos, and then
Okay.
Google Photos came up.
Well, then they should just be on your phone automatically.
Oh, no, they were on my phone, but see, when you're looking for thousands of pictures through your phone, I thought, because I didn't know what year these pictures were taken. And
Oh,
so,
okay.
so I was doing a search and I finally found them. but now they're on my desktop, and it was like, okay, I don't want to go back. I guess I could go back to my phone because I had the dates written down and I could find them on my phone. But is there an easier way from your desktop to just do it since you found the picture on your desktop?
I think what you're talking about is you added new photos to Google Photos.
No, no, they've been in my Google Photo collection for years, and I was just looking because I was searching for two pictures, and I found the
and
two
you
pictures.
found them on the desktop,
Yes.
and then you didn't know how to find. You didn't want to go through the same process to find them again on your phone.
Right. So I just
Okay.
took a picture of them from this with my cell phone on my desktop, which is silly, I know.
Hey, where there's a will, there's a way. I understand. I still
But can you do it from your
remember
desktop is my question.
I think what would help you is to make an album with them. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to my computer now.
Okay, give me a sec.
Oh, this is actually my Chromebook. So Google Photos works great on Chromebook. I'm just going to the Chromebook website, the Google Photos website, and let's say that I scroll back down through the years and I find this photo of Jim in the kitchen and I want that, and
Yes.
I just select it, and
Okay.
then I scroll back more and I see this picture of this is Michelangelo's David with the or one of the statues in the Michelangelo Museum. Okay, so I've found two pictures. They are at wildly different dates, but
Good.
I have selected them. See, it says two selected up here.
Oh,
Now if I click the plus and make an album,
oh,
and new album, and I'm just going to call it Found Photos.
okay. Perfect. Thank you.
And edit and the check mark. Okay, so now I have an album called Found Photos. Now I can go to my phone and find that album. I tap on library and I'll choose most recently updated, last modified, and there is my Found Photos.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I needed to send an email with these pictures to someone. So
Uh-huh.
I would probably do it from my
Better
cell
check
phone,
the
sounds
album.
like, instead of from my desktop.
Yeah, then you could just share the album.
Right.
With
Perfect.
yeah, create a link to share.
Thank
Like
you.
Bob has another point.
Or he just never lowered his hand.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Then next one. This is a fun one. This is a fun one. And then I think I'll probably need to stop for time. Map view in Google Photos. Let's say that I have 100,000 photos, and once you start really using Google Photos, you will have a lot as well. That's the point. And I'm thinking of a photo, but I don't remember. How do you find photos? By date is the basic way. You can also search for people's faces, but the only thing I remember is where it was taken. I want to see all the photos that we've taken in the Tetons. That's on search. So if I go to search, and in the places, the first tile in places is your map. I tap on your map. Now I have a map on the top and photos on the bottom. And I also love showing this because it kind of gives me bragging rights. Anywhere you see this heat map of colors is where there's a photo. So because we were RVers, we lived in an RV for years.
We took pictures everywhere.
We took pictures everywhere, so we have photos all over the United States. The Tetons are in Wyoming somewhere here. And there, Bridger Teton National Park. And I can just tap anywhere where there's a blue dot. And at the bottom now, there are all my pictures by date. So I can even see how many times did we visit the Tetons.
Several.
Well, the last time we were there was 2018. Then I can scroll down and I can see that we were also, that's still 2018. We were there for more than a month, I guess. And I keep scrolling down. And now we're in 2013, so twice at least. And then these very bottom pictures are from 2004. So the map allows me to go to a place and see all the photos regardless of time. Let me give you another example. Somebody might ask us, do you know of a place to camp near Chicago? Yeah, right. There's going to be a campground near Chicago. There is. We stayed there. I don't remember when. I don't remember the name of it, but I can use my map.
She knows where Chicago is.
I know where Chicago is, right? I can
Sort
use
of.
my map and I see all these dots. So now I just have to play with the dots. This is when we were giving a presentation to a Chicago APCUG group. So more dots. Probably over where it's kind of green here, you think? Yeah, there we go. So this is the campground.
Bullfrog Lake.
And I even have a
Ribbit.
description. And this is something relatively new. On the iPhone, descriptions show up as soon as you open the photo. The Android's still not. Bullfrog Lake. And last example, let's say I want to find a picture of your group, of Barry Cowan and the Deerfield Club. All I have to do is find the location, and not always easy. I want to have the whole screen for the map, so I can drag this little slider down. And we're in Fort Lauderdale, Pompano Beach. We need to get in Deerfield, out near Quiet Waters Park, right? I think it's that dot right there. Yeah. So the last time we were there was January 2020. And then we were there in March of 2019, January of 2018, and there's a nice picture of Barry. But there's plenty of pictures here of the whole group. There's a panorama. So you get the idea. I use that map view all the time to find photos. Now, your phone's camera must have been set to record, to capture the location. And but that's easy. Okay, shall I wrap it up or one more?
Yeah, you can do another one, Chris. Go ahead.
Okay, then let's do this one as a we'll play this video. It's video number 749. So if you ever wanted to see it again, you just go to geeksontour.com/749. All of our videos are numbered, and that's how you can find them. And this is about searching by people. So, combining people search, making filters. What I'm talking about is searching. So if you search, and I just say, I just want to see pictures of me, I tap on me. But what if I want to see pictures that have both me and Jim? You can click this little plus next to Jim's face. Now, what if I want to see not just pictures that have me and Jim, but pictures that have me and Jim and beer?
That shouldn't be too hard.
No, this is true. Just me and Jim, you're going to get a lot with beer. That's what this little 3 lines over at the very far left is for additional filters. I could say, just show me pictures of me and Jim that are favorites. That's a cool one. So if I want to find a good picture of me and Jim, that's exactly what I would do. I would search for pictures that have me and Jim and that have been marked as favorites. But if I want to just have beer, I'm probably going to have to deselect favorites. There we go. And now there's beer. Now, I'm not sure how these words must appear because I've searched for them in the past. I'm not sure. I cannot type it in, but I can choose beer. And now I have pictures of me and Jim and beer. So where was that? That was under search. And you start with the people. And then you have these special options up at the top. All right. Then we have some questions for you.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
Digital.
Yep, there we go. Did you learn something? This small multicolored one logo stands for A, first place, B, Google One, C, favorites, D, the card game Uno.
Google One.
Google One.
Google
Yeah, feel
One.
free to unmute and answer if you want to.
Okay, to get back to the photo grid from any other screen in Google Photos, A, tap Photos, B, tap the Account button and Grid, or C, tap Library.
Photos. It's the Photos tab that takes you to that grid of all your photos.
True or false? When you use this quick scroll button to go through the years, it will always drop you off at the beginning of a month.
True.
True. And that's
It's nice.
relatively new, and it's way cool.
Google Photos map view is on what menu? A, Photos, B, Search, C, Library, or D, Sharing?
Search.
B, search. Yeah, search has all the really good stuff.
Okay, and that's the last question. So, I think that'll do it for us. I'm Jim,
I'm Chris.
and we are Geeks on Tour. Thanks for watching.
Or Geeks at Home now. I don't know.
Yeah.
We will be in England next month, and we might do something from there.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to you, Barry.
I have one more question. Can I ask?
Okay.
Sure,
Yes,
Linda.
go ahead.
Okay. So my other question is, I have used Google Photos. Well, I've taken a lot of photos with my camera of, like my insurance papers and things like that, because they said, because of hurricanes, it's good. So the question is, how secure are my Google Photos, since I have some interesting papers in Google Photos now? Is it secure pretty much, or
It's
should I
quite
worry?
secure. Yes, I mean it is for your eyes only. Now, actually, let's hear what Bob. You want to take that one?
Yeah, it's as secure as you make it. If it's not shared with anyone else, only you have access to it.
Okay. So
So
I would have to share that.
When you share, then you allow others. And even that you can control, because you don't have to share with everybody. You can just share with certain people. If it's important, share it with just those trusted people that should have access to it.
But that's and absolutely. And I honestly don't know. I have not heard any stories about it getting hacked. I mean, if somebody wants to see your photo library, they have to know your username, your password, and they need to have your phone for this two-factor authentication code that will get sent to you to validate you. Now, if they do have all of those things, then yeah, they can.
And if
can
you
see
share
your
it
photos.
somewhere, that person you share it with has full access to
Can reshare it.
it,
Yeah.
can reshare it. So that's where things get messy.
Okay.
That's
Now-
where the trusted person comes in.
Yeah.
Now, are you
Thank
on
you.
Android or iPhone?
I have Android.
Okay. Android has this thing called locked folder. I skipped that slide in here because I just do not like locked folder. I mean, if you absolutely positively never wanted anybody else to see that, to see your passport photo, you could put it in the locked folder. Then, even if somebody has your phone in their hand and they know it's in the locked folder, they will be asked for your unlock code to get into it. But do not use that unless you really understand it, because if you put something in the lock folder, it's no longer in the cloud. It's been removed from Google Photos.
Wow.
And if you reset your phone or even just clear cache and
cache,
cookies, you will be deleting those photos. So
That's not a good thing.
yeah. So just a point. I do not use locked folder unless you really understand it.
No. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Back to you, Barry.
Okay, great. Superior job as always. Thank you so much, Jim and Chris. It's been a pleasure seeing you again.
Yeah.
I'll be in contact with you about that IPEVO issue. So if you'd like to stick around, we'd appreciate it. If not, then we wish you the best of health.
I'm going to stick around.
Yeah, we'll
I want to
stick
hear
around.
what Bob has to say.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we always learn something
Bob
from
likes
Bob.
to talk too. So Bob is our resident security expert. He's certainly the guy I always go to, and he's got videoitis, I believe. That's I don't know if that's catching, but he does a whole lot of videos. I don't know how they would compare to the ones that you and Chris do, Jim, but he has a great deal of expertise in a variety of areas, and I'm pleased to have him as a very good friend. So Bob, go ahead and take it on.
Okay.
Your screen.
I have a couple of videos that I put together, and I'll go through them one at a time. And if you have questions, put them in the chat or wait until we finish those videos. Some basic but very important modem advice. There are modems, there are routers, and there are also modem router combos. Modems and modem router combos occasionally need some attention. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and get involved. The following video I put together will give you some solid advice on keeping your internet humming and your modem safe and secure for some time into the future. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are and what else you'd like to see.
The computer room. 3 computers in this room and 1 Chromebook. But it all starts with the modem router combo. That's what connects the modem part to the outside world, and a router is what routes all of those devices to that modem. Your router modem, in my case, modem router combo, just like your computer, needs to be restarted
And updated.
on a regular basis. It also builds up garbage. And if you don't on occasion restart that modem, you may wind up with some problems. Also, there are infections that can get into that modem. And
Some
those infections only last as long as the modem runs. Once you reboot it, that's the end of that infection. So it's important that on a regular basis, this baby gets rebooted. And there's a very easy way to do that. In my case, this part down here where the unit is plugged in, I regularly, on a weekly basis, disconnect this. As you can see, all the lights are gone because I just shut down my modem router combo. I wait 15 to 30 seconds, and once that time is up, it gets plugged back in again. That clears out all the garbage. It can also clear out some of the infections that are currently out there because they only last for as long as that device has been plugged in since its infection. Once rebooted, that's the end of the infection. So let me plug this back in. As you see, the first light's back. Now, we all know once you unplug and replug, this takes quite a while for it to reset. But this is what should be done at least once per month. If you want your computers and the rest of the stuff to work properly, it starts right here. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye. If you lose your phone and you expect it to be returned to you, here is what you need to do. Start by going to your settings. And next we're looking for display. The easiest way to get there is to do a search within settings for display. Select display. Next you want lock screen. And next you want to display add text on lock screen. Next, let's type some easy instructions for the person to follow who finds your phone. Once you've typed your message, select Save. Now, if you lose your phone, this message will be visible on that phone, even though the person can't access the phone. And your chances of getting your phone back have just greatly improved. Without this type of a message, there isn't any way the person who found your phone is able to contact you. Good luck. Hopefully you'll never need it, but if you do, at least you've improved your chances of getting back that precious phone. Stay safe, stay secure. I hope this helps. Cookie banners and what to do about them. The wrong thing to do is to hit the button that simply says, I accept. The right thing to do is to look at the cookie settings. Select it, and now you have choices of what cookies to accept and what cookies you want to turn off. Almost all sites, in order to make them usable, have necessary cookies. These cookies are necessary for the website to function and can't be switched off in our system. They are usually only set in response to actions made by you, which amount to a request for services, such as setting your privacy preferences, logging in or filling in forms, and you get to set your browser to block or alert you about these cookies. But some parts of the site may not work if you do that. Necessary cookies are something I always allow. Next, we come into performance cookies. And personally, I allow necessary cookies. I don't allow performance cookies. Turn it off. And then you have the social sharing cookies. That's where they share your information with all of their buddies, and you will get bombarded from all over the place. So social sharing, third-party cookies, thank you, but no thanks. Turn it off. You've now made an educated decision of what to allow and what not to allow as far as cookies on that website. Save the information, and the next time you visit that website, you're not going to see that cookie banner. Stay safe, stay secure. I hope that helps. And have a happy 4th of July. Taking a screenshot within Microsoft Word. We all know that a picture is worth 1,000 words. But did you know that when you're working within Microsoft Word, you can do a screenshot right within Word itself? Let me show you how that's done. Suppose I want to describe where I live, and I happen to have a picture of something close to the home that I live in. I want to use that picture or a part of it within the Word document. So this is where I live, or at least this is close to where I live. Let me give you a picture of where that is. Now is the time to insert that picture. And when you get to this point, select Insert, and you'll notice here, there's a spot for a screenshot. If I select it, it will switch out of Word, then open up whatever I have as my focus behind Word, and take a screenshot of that entire picture, document, whatever happens to be open. If I use that down arrow, I have the option of clipping a portion of whatever is behind me, which is what I'm going to be using right now. So I'll select screen clipping. You notice it goes outside of the document, gives me a chance now to take a screenshot. This is what I want to share in the document. And as you can see, that picture has just been inserted in Word. It's that simple. Now, the next time that you're working inside of Word and you want to add a picture through doing a screenshot, you don't need a separate program. It's built right into Word. Enjoy, have fun. This was just announced by Google, and it's available right now. Introducing Pageless Format. The Pages format allows you to add wide images and tables and view documents without the interruption of page breaks. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and get involved. And here's what you need to know to change whether a document has pages or is pageless. On your computer, open a document in Google Docs, go to the File and then Page Setup. At the top of the dialog window, select Pages or Pageless. Click OK to confirm that change. And here's a tip. You can click Set as Default to apply these settings to any new documents you create. Let's do an actual document conversion. I have an instructional document that I pass along after my presentation with lots of information. I always have to say, don't forget to look at all 3 pages. Now I no longer need to make that statement, and folks won't ask me, where is the rest of the information, because they didn't look at all the pages. So here is that follow-up document that I pass along after a presentation. But as you can see, it is 3 pages long with page breaks in between. And quite often people will look at the first part and then they'll want to know what happened to all the other stuff you talked about in your presentation. And needless to say, if I could make this 1 page, there'd be lots of questions that I don't have to answer. So let's go ahead and make the conversion. Start by selecting File, then scroll down to Page Setup, and here we can select Pageless. Pageless format allows you to add wide images and tables and consume content without the interruption of page breaks. I do want to make this particular document 1 simple page, so I'll select OK. I selected Pageless, select OK. Now let's take another look at that document. The document is now 1 single page. Yes, I have some adjustments to make. I formatted my original document because I knew it was 3 pages with 1 line at the bottom that always says more on the next page. I no longer need this. So I can go in here and I can delete this. I can also tidy things up a little bit. Again, get rid of this because I no longer need it. Again, tidy things up. And I now have 1 simple document with all the information on it. No more having to scroll to page 2 and page 3. Thank you, Google. For me, this makes lots of sense. Here's something important to remember. If your document has certain elements, such as headers and footers or watermarks, and you wish it to go pageless, you won't be able to see those elements. If you switch the document back to pages, you'll again see those elements. Also, on a document that's in pageless format, you won't be able to add certain features, such as columns, page numbers, headers, and footers, and some other things. To use these features, make sure your document is set to page format. You can see all of the instructions and information at the link directly from Google. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hopefully, that taught you a couple of things.
Great job,
And-
Bob.
And if you ever want to see those again, there's lots and lots of videos on my YouTube channel.
Jim and Chris, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I wanted to say thanks. That screenshot from Microsoft Word is a way cool tip. I did not know that.
Hey,
I thought she knew everything too. It's
no, nobody knows everything. I've learned
That was a cool
heck of a
one.
lot
well, she
from you
said
guys.
she does.
No, that's you.
Oh, that's me.
That's you that says you know everything. But one comment on the cookies.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do try every time I go to a new website and it pops up this thing about accept cookies or go in and make all your selections. I try to make all my selections, but boy, does it get aggravating after a
It's
while.
onerous.
That's
But I
because
read,
Google made the decision that they have to show that cookie banner, or they will not be visible if you're using Chrome.
yeah.
Okay. That was a security feature they instituted some time ago. Well, not that long ago.
Right.
And
Right.
we now have the consequences.
And I am glad, I can go in and say no, 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 no.
Right.
But it gets a bit onerous. But I ran into one website yesterday that it popped up the cookie message, and it had an accept button, and that was it.
Well,
I could either accept all, or I could leave the website. There was
Correct.
no.
Right
And,
choices.
and well,
it
so I
is
mean, I
one-
left the
it is
website.
one
Now-
of it is one of the choices that a website makes. And if you really want that website, you're just going to accept. I personally will find my information somewhere else.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Right.
I agree.
Carol has her hand up.
Yes. So Chris and Jim answered part of my question, but this whole notion of being on a network and being networked is still confusing to me. So at the Cookbee office, we have multiple devices. We are connected with our modem, and we have a Wi-Fi network that each of the devices are connected to. One of the volunteers who was in was asking about whether, in fact, our devices were networked with each other so that documents and things could easily be passed back and forth to them. And I think at some point in the past, there may have been a separate network set up, but he seemed to think that a separate network, designated that way was not necessary. So I'm not completely clear on it.
How are you interconnected?
I don't know that we are interconnected. We are connected through a modem, and I think it's probably a modem router. It's a Comcast business.
Yeah, same thing that I have.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. The router only takes care of all the devices in the house, okay? The modem itself is what connects to the outside world. And it's the modem that also winds up where you have passwords to consider, you have network ID to consider, that usually come with defaults. And if you leave them with defaults, anybody who has any sense knows how to find it. It's also the modem that winds up getting infected. The router, I don't know of any router, it's just a switch.
Yeah, well, that,
Am I right, Jim?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would also put in the one point that these router modems also are a switch. So you have multiple inputs, so you can connect multiple devices. But what Carol is talking about is basically, yeah, most of the offices back in the day had an interconnected Ethernet or some kind of wired network, and they were all on the same local area network. So anything that's connected to the local Wi-Fi or to the local Ethernet plugins, they're on a local area network. What the router's job is to do is to connect that local area network, be it one computer or 1,000 computers, to the internet. So
Okay.
it connects one network to another network.
so that almost
It's not
answers-
necessary anymore if you can do what you want with the stuff that you have. Networks are, local area networks, especially the wired ones, still have their place, but it's really outdated technology, because if you have internet access, you have another network that is bigger, but you can have your own pieces to it too.
Okay, that
So-
that answers most of the question, but there's still a little piece missing. So you said it connects either to the Wi-Fi network or to an Ethernet network, and I'm not sure if you're saying they're equivalent. So
Well,
Um,
yes, they are equivalent in the network world, a wired network or a wireless network.
okay, well,
When I say Ethernet, it means wired.
yes, no, I know. Let me give you a specific example. So one computer has documents A to C. A second computer has documents D, E, F, and a third one has something else. Does it require a network to be established connecting them that allows any one of those three computers to access the documents on the other computers?
Yes, that would be a peer-to-peer network in your situation. And they all have to be configured in such a way that they recognize one another. So it's a configuration and a settings issue. They are connected, but whether they can see one another is a configuration.
And do they
Does-
need to be hardwired together,
No.
or is,
No, Wi-Fi is the replacement to
Okay.
wire.
that's
It's wireless
Yep.
technology. It's wireless networking.
great?
Now you
So-
go even one step further and you have Bluetooth.
Don't
you
bother
have
with
in
it.
Windows, you have in Windows 11, you have nearby sharing.
Oh
And
yeah.
that can work right through Bluetooth,
Mhm.
because your Windows 11 has Bluetooth as part
Yeah,
of
that's going to be a
what it
lot
does.
slower though, and not as reliable.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you, that's helpful.
I have to add a piece. Back when we were supporting Wi-Fi in RV parks, there's this Wi-Fi network that everybody could connect to. There was a setting that we had to make sure that everybody left on that said, do not share the contents of my computer out on that network, because that's not why they were
That was
connecting it
creating
to.
another network.
Yeah.
It
So-
got very confusing. But that's the world I come from, and that's yeah.
But you still have that modem, okay? And that Wi-Fi or not, you still have that modem.
Yeah, the
that's the
modem is
piece-
what connects the networks,
Right.
the local
And
network
that's the
to the
one
wide
that
area
needs to
network.
on occasionally be cleared out of the garbage it collects. Just
Oh,
like
yeah.
you clear out your browser because it collects garbage, so does that modem or modem router, whatever you happen to have.
And
But
that
it's
was
the
a helpful
modem
tip.
section.
Most people have modem routers these days.
Right. Yep.
There are exceptions to everything we say here. Your
Always.
mileage may vary.
Bob, is that called a gateway, right?
Mm,
Combination
Mm,
unit is called a gateway like Comcast has, where you've got
Yeah, it can be
serve
called
as
a
both.
gateway. A gateway has a definite,
it's a
uh,
modem
re-
router combo is what it
yeah,
is.
and it's a
So,
switch,
so
and
are
so
you,
it does multiple things.
are you responsible for doing the firmware updates or is it automatic?
That depends. That depends. If you've left the password and user alone when Comcast or whatever you're using, they can then manually do the update from their end. If you're security conscious and you changed that password, even though you may have left the rest alone, they can't get in and do anything to that road modem. You're safer, but you don't get auto updates.
hmm.
And I personally, Comcast, I have never heard from them that they were doing any updates.
Hmm.
So you're probably better if you look yourself to see if there's any updates.
And our
Mike
situ-
has, sorry, Mike has his hand up.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I had terrible difficulty signing on today, and had several times over the recent weeks have noticed that Chrome and Zoom, you won't be able to join the Zoom on Chrome or something from August. Anyone know anything about that?
Hmm.
That's
have you
your
gotten all of
internet
your
connection.
updates?
Yep.
There have been several updates, and there are some issues if you want to get everything up to date,
Right.
And they've
both Chrome
extended,
and Zoom.
sorry, they've extended the deadline until August now, but your Chromebook, if it's international, may be operating differently. So you just want to Google Chrome updates with Zoom so that you can get the most recent software.
That's only the Chromebook, is it? Because I'm
Yes,
using
Chromebook,
Chrome.
Chromebook.
Oh, okay.
Chromebook.
You should be
Chrome
using
browser is all right.
you should be using the PWA for Zoom, not the one that goes through the browser, because that one's being discontinued altogether. And
I
that's
don't know what a
got lot of-
PWA is.
It, when you find a decent article on Google, it will tell you what to do, and you need to download it from your Play Store.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Mike, if you go to my YouTube channel, there is an instructional video on setting up the PWA for Zoom on your Chromebook.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
What does that stand
And
for,
if
Bob?
you personal web app.
Okay,
Oh. And the easiest way to reach my channel is just go to YouTube and then search for Bob 3160 or my full name. Both of them work, but Bob 3160 is the easiest. And that'll bring up my channel.
And it
Have
stands
fun.
for
You'll be there for years.
Progressive Web Apps.
Progressive web app. But in essence, what it does is it turns a web page into an application. That's the simplest explanation.
And it's
Great.
Sorry, yeah,
direction
Bob-
everything on
Bob
Chrome.
31. Bob 31 what?
Go ahead.
Bob 31.
It's in the chat.
3160.
I put it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you, Carol.
okay, folks, I got a little stuff here. If everyone's finished with your side. I sometimes have to bookmark myself to find my place here, so give me a moment. Let's see where I'm at. Okay, I'm going to share this screen here. Oops, no, let's see which one I want. This screen right here. I'm gonna move this thing up. How did Amazon do on the Prime days? Well, you can't believe how great it was, but here it is. Amazon Prime members saved over $1.7 billion, more than any other Prime event. Myself, I spent over 300 or 400, and I saved half of that in discounts and bundling, which they did. For example, with the Blink camera, or the Wise camera with other devices. They sold them all together. Now, this is from Amazon's site, so they can't blame me for copywriting. It says Prime members purchased more than 300 million items, making this year's event the biggest Prime Day event in Amazon's history. Prime members, as it said, saved over 1.7 billion. And the year was the biggest Prime Day event for Amazon's selling partners. Most of them were small and medium-sized businesses whose sales growth in Amazon store outpaced Amazon's retail business. Customers spent over 3 billion on more than 100 million small business items included in the Support Small Business to Win Big sweepstakes. And they were ecstatic to partner with Amazon for the Prime Day, and it was unbelievable what was bought. Some of the best-selling categories worldwide were Amazon devices, consumer electronics, and home. Prime members worldwide did most shopping from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, July 12th. Of course, I was up at 3 in the morning. Some of the best-selling items worldwide were from premium beauty brands, including Laneige and NuFace, Apple Watch Series 7, diapers, wipes from Pampers, and The Honest Company, kitchen essentials from Rachel Ray, Le Creuset and Hamilton Beach, VTech and Leapfrog toys, Vital Proteins Collagen Whey, Levi's apparel and accessories, Chemical Guys car wash products, pet products from Nutro, Temptations, and Greenies. And Select Fire TV, they had the Fire TV stick for $16, I think it was, the 4K. They had the more expensive one, but people opted for the cheaper one. Of course, they had the Echo, I believe it was the Echo 4, and Blink devices. Also, Wise devices were big sellers, but they were bundled together with another item, and they were some of the best-selling items on Amazon worldwide. Customers supported small businesses in the 3-week lead up. And even though Best Buy and Target and others and Walmart were running big sales, they couldn't even come close to what Amazon did. Prime members purchased more than 60,000 items per minute during this year's Prime event. Prime members did most of the shopping, as I said, from 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. And it shows that despite all of the items going on in the pandemic and in the supply chain, people were really still spending money, whether it be from their stimulus checks and whatever. It didn't stop them at all. They just let it go. And thousands of creators streamed throughout Prime Day, and the Amazon Live Prime Day streams, which are still available on the Amazon site, had more than 100 million views. That's what I was looking at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I made a lot of purchases, couple of purchases between 3 and 5 in the morning, and then the more the next day and more the next day. So I'm going to show you something else for a moment. Let's see where I'm at. Oh, let me come down a little bit here. Now, here's another thing. YouTube. How do you get to our YouTube channel? Well, you go to the club site and you click on the red YouTube icon. That takes you to my channel known as Musikmann, which is the German word for musician, which is what I am, so to speak. And here you will now see on every video a subscribe thing. You'll see a subscribe thing here. Now, all you do is click the subscribe, and it will give you a chance to get a lot more members onto our subscription. We have 19. So if everyone here just looks at one video and just clicks the subscribe button, you will be able to get put into your YouTube area, and you can see everything that I've got there. Well, I think I have 132 videos that I've done so far. I know it's a short amount compared to Jim and Chris and Bob. And then there's a notification button. If you want to be notified when the next video is available, you can click that. Now, on to something final here before I wind up. I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to choose my virtual background, and I'm going to go to none, because I'm going to show you some things that I bought during Amazon. Let's see. I'll start with this. I don't know if you can see it or not. This is like a podcast mic that I bought. You could plug this into a USB, and you can, it's like a broadcast mic. It has a red light on the top. I don't want to do that now because it will disable the headphone mic that I've got on. But you have to make sure that whenever you use something additional, that you go to sound and make sure you selected the correct device so it will work properly. That can be used for podcasts. Hint, I'm going to start to learn to do one for the club very soon. Here's a dandy device that everybody should have.
Hold it up higher, Barry.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
can you all see that?
Yep.
Okay. This is an external CD drive, DVD drive. When you plug this into with a USB, you can put DVDs and CDs in there. It will read and burn everything. It costs, I think, $20. I got it on Amazon, and it's very useful because a lot of the things that you buy today, like laptops and Chromebooks and whatever, don't have built-in CDs anymore, or DVD drives. And the reason for that is, of course, they add extra weight to the item, and the whole idea is for selling them light. But this works flawlessly. You plug it in, it's a plug and play type thing. This one came from LG, and you can, as I say, place DVDs or CDs in them, and it works great. Your device or your system will find it and set it up for you automatically.
When you get a sec, Barry, you want to put the details of that in the chat for people so they can find it, either a link for it or something.
Okay, I'll do that. Here's a nice glove for you. This is a mouse glove, because if people have carpal tunnel syndrome, this is a gel pack that's in here. So you can hold your mouse or whatever it is and rest your wrist on it so that you're not extending your wrist too much, which causes carpal tunnel syndrome. That was cheap too. Also got me a wallet case. Very cheap. It has room for 3 credit cards. All of this on this side has, as you can see, it has areas for 3 credit cards, and it's RFID capable. So if anyone tries to get near you and read what's on your device, it will be blocked. Your phone fits in there, and it has a compartment on the other side here, right here, where you can put in a couple of bills. So you don't have to take a big wallet with you everywhere you go. You just take this thing with you, and it's great. What else did I get? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Well, this may be the find of the year. It's called a BlendJet. How would you like to take your smoothies with you everywhere you go? This is a USB BlendJet. You get the USB cable, you charge it up, and you get 15, after it's fully charged, you get 15 uses before you have to recharge it. I didn't put any liquid in there because obviously I don't want it to spread all over the place as an example. But you'll see the side has gradations in milliliters and ounces. So you can add precise things. For example, you'd put a liquid in there like almond milk or coconut water, or you'd put in juices, and then you add frozen stuff like frozen cherries and frozen banana, whatever you want to put in there. And these blades are so sharp that they will immediately chop ice. So you can get a frozen drink. And when you get that frozen drink, you can carry it along. I don't know if you can see this, but this is called a BlendJet sleeve. And you put the device right into the sleeve at the top, and it keeps it cold there. Okay, Bob, thank you for coming. I'm running a little bit late. Well, that's just a couple of things I wanted to show you. So let's go back where we were. I want to thank everybody for coming today. It's been a pleasure to see you. Thanks again to Chris and Jim for hitting it out of the park. And I'll be in touch with you about that IPEVO unit. We'll talk about that some other time. I want you all to stay healthy and well. And please.
You too, Barry.
Please continue to go to the website. You can subscribe now to my channel, and we'll get a whole bunch of hits that we didn't have before. I'm always thinking of doing the best for all of you. And although personal conditions have varied, I think that I feel very good about everything again, and I'm not going to give up. So my father used to say, a quitter never wins and a winner never quits. So I'm not giving up. We're going to continue Zoom as long as we can. I wish there was a bigger turnout than today, but a lot of people are away and things like that. So I'm grateful for all of you for your support. Stay well. And now say goodbye to one another. And you'll find this video up probably maybe tonight or tomorrow. Just keep looking, okay?
All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Barry.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good show. Great information today.
Excellent. Love the photos.
Oh, one thing, BlendJet, just go to BlendJet2.com or BlendJet. You'll find videos there. You'll find the item there. It will tell you all about it. And it's all over social media. They have a Facebook site. They have an Instagram site. They have the website, of course, the desktop, everything. Dorothy, I'm glad you could join us, that you got your internet.
They got my internet. How much was the BlendJet on Prime?
Well, it was $49.99, but they make a bigger one. That's this baby, which is 32 ounces. So you can pour the 2/16 into the 32, and you just carry it in your car, and it stays cool. So you don't have to go to Starbucks or any place else. You make your own smoothie. It's rechargeable, and you carry it in your car. Just the container, just this thing. You carry it with you. It fits into the almost into the some of the holes there. Maybe by the dash, and it's an amazing product. If you have any questions, email me at president@db-cc.net. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.